Good afternoon, Memorial football fans. I'm Charles Strayer, joined again by my co-host Logan Biedermann. Today we're going into a post-game analysis of the game against North at Carson Park, as well as a pre-game analysis of the upcoming home game against the undefeated New Richmond Tigers.
As much as it pains me to say, this past Friday we lost 14-7 to North at the historic Carson Park.
Yep, it was quite a heartbreaker. North had control nearly the entire game, but there were glimmers of hope, and we did end up making it a close game. In the fourth quarter, we had a 50-yard, four-play scoring drive, Holmberg to Clark in the end zone, and that shows a lot. We were down 14-0 nearly the entire game. North put it in a strong first half performance, but in the fourth quarter, as we've seen in the two games prior, the Abes are never out of it, and they were able to put up points on the board and give us a fighting chance. Unfortunately, we couldn't get it in the end.
A staggering 64% of our points were scored in the fourth quarter across these three games.
That's true. By contrast, 25% of the points have been scored in the first half. I think that's something we're really going to have to work on here, particularly against these New Richmond Tigers. Getting the first half is key. Gaining momentum, getting a score there quick on the board. We were able to do it a little bit against Central, couldn't quite get it in the end thanks to the third quarter, but I think that's more what we need. We need to have drives like we had in the fourth quarter against North right away out of the gate. That's going to set a precedent for the rest of the game, and then things are going to go our way.
Meanwhile, the opponents that we've faced in the games we've played against them have their scores fairly distributed with only a slight preference for the first half.
Yep. The Abes coming in from behind is never a good thing to do. You're coming out at halftime and you're down a couple scores. That's something that we've had to deal with every single game so far, and that's something that we're looking to change for New Richmond.
It just comes down to the offense. The drives are not being made. There are plays that are certainly excellent plays on their own,
No doubt,
but they're not being strung together.
Yeah, we have the personnel. The confidence is improving. Like, again, we saw it was a miraculous fourth quarter drive that we had, and all the pieces were starting to come together. Unfortunately, it was just too late to mount a real comeback.
And the defense, by contrast, is getting the ball in our hands. It just hasn't come to fruition.
Yep, things are in motion, and against New Richmond, they're certainly going to provide a challenge. We'll see if the Abes are up to it following the loss. And speaking of New Richmond, we are facing off against them at Carson Park this Friday. They're 3-0 overall and are 1-0 in the conference. Their last game was the conference matchup against River Falls.
Now, you mentioned that River Falls game, which ended in a 28-21 victory for New Richmond. But what's interesting is New Richmond led a 20-point lead going into the second half that they rode right to the very end.
River Falls certainly gave them a run for their money, however, and an interception late in the fourth quarter gave them an opportunity to mount a potentially game-winning drive. It was cut short, however, when a deep red zone pass was incomplete as the clock ticked away and New Richmond came away with the victory. It was an extremely close call, however.
Another really lucky play that New Richmond had in their favor was deep in the red zone earlier in the game. There was a fumble that they turned into a really easy touchdown.
Yep, you got to give credit to the New Richmond defense, but that is more a defensive play than an offensive success there if you have that field position. Avoiding the turnovers on the defensive end is going to be important. However, clinching that victory in the first half, more so than the entire game, is going to be imperative. If we win the first half, we build momentum, and our strong fourth quarter performance should prevail, and that is going to lay the foundation for a win at home.
Absolutely. It's what North did against us. It's what New Richmond did against River Falls. It's what we need to do against New Richmond.
This past loss against North, not ideal by any means, but it serves as a wake-up call. The first half needs to be won, more so than any other aspect of the game. We have momentum, and we have a fourth quarter performance to show for it, and this is going to be no contest. The Abes are right on the cusp of something great, and we can turn this around right now. We just need to get a strong start.
Absolutely. That game against North really brought into light the problems that our team is facing.
And I think the coaching staff as well as the players are more than eager to take steps to change that. This is going to be a new and improved team we are seeing here on Friday, and it should be an excellent game.
Go Abes.
Hey everybody, I'm Aiden Rickert, Eagle Eye's other guy. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and check out some of the other videos on our YouTube channel. Go Abes!